They lead with.
So they've got Camilla forces U-turn in Dahl book cuts row. And as you say, Leo, we had a bit to do with it. I wrote a brilliant article for the Daily Skeptic. A lot of it, Salman Rushdie weighed in. He might have had a say as well. Yeah. And everyone was criticising this absurd censorship of the Roald Dahl's books where they destroyed the original text and put in all these stupid sanitised phrases. Absolutely disgusting. Everyone hated it. And Camilla weighed in at Clarence House, and she said to some authors, please remain true to your calling, unimpeded by those who may wish to curb the freedom of your expression or impose limits on your imagination. Then apparently she smiled and said, enough said. So it was obvious what she meant. So it was very cool that she sort of intervened like that. Yeah. And what Penguin have done now is roll it back a bit. They're now going to have this Roald Dahl Classics collection, which could be called The Actual Books. And then they've got the censored version, which shouldn't even have his name on as far as I'm concerned. It should just say Puffin Morons or something down the spine. And actually, I mean, here's what Puffin said. It's absolutely absurd. They said, we've listened to the debate over the past week, which has reaffirmed the extraordinary power of Roald Dahl's books and the very real questions around how stories from another era can be kept relevant for each new generation. You don't need to doctor the stories to keep them relevant. Just print them out. That's all you're there for.
If you want to create new books, write new books. And the problem is, I mean, our publishing companies have been taken over by woke social justice ideologues, and the books that they're commissioning, the woke books, aren't selling. Nobody wants to have a lecture in this sort of leaden prose that makes sure it doesn't offend anybody. Nobody wants that. So instead, because they're not selling, they've had to go in and edit books that are selling to try and crowbar their ideologies into there. I mean, Dan, you've got kids. Are you going to be buying the classics or the new ones?
I'll be buying the classics. I think it's absolutely ridiculous, obviously. But what I found interesting about this story is and correct me if I'm wrong, when not working class people, normal, average, everyday people kick off about this, nothing changes. But because the new potential queen and all these people are saying stuff, then they're like, all right, we'll take a little back step. And some of the stuff in here isn't even offences. Old hag, they're changing to old cow. You must be mad. Into you must be out of your mind, and they changed the Oompa Loompas to gender neutral. I mean,
gender neutral.
Come on, man.
I'd have thought of all the offensive things about the Oompa Loompas. Their gender isn't part of it.
No,
you know
I mean, they never specified that. But yeah.
The changes. Do you not see they changed the enormous crocodile? I mean, this is a book for very young children, and they changed it because it said we eat little boys and girls. They took that out and said we eat little children. It was the gender part. It was the biological
not the
sex.
fact that it eats the kids.
Exactly. So yeah,
Jesus.
it's absolutely pathetic. Yeah. Why do these people get away with it, Leo? This is just me. I would have criminal charges for these people. What they've done is worse than vandalism. They should have to go to a non-woke literary course taught by maybe me or Dr. Andrew Doyle, and they should learn about literature, and they should maybe have to pick up litter by the side of the road with those sticks.
So this would be like the opposite of equality, diversity and inclusion training. I like the sound of this. I mean, as long as there's